Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you live today from beautiful Budapest, capital city of Hungary, here in Central Europe. Hi Prashant, hi Monica, hi Ferry, hi Gunkai Ren. Good to see many in class, some members joining in. Hung, good to see you. Hope everybody has had a great start to their week. Our materials for this class are coming from our websites, aehelp.com for academic IELTS help, and for the general version, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's general IELTShelp.com. I'll quickly just show you what those websites look like, so you know what you're looking for. This is our academic IELTS portal for your phone, tablet, PC. You can click that big red button to join. And for the general version of the exam, you can click that red button with this green background there. Make sure you join the correct website. Hello everyone who's joining in. Thank you for all who's asking me how I'm doing. I am doing fantastic. I had a great weekend, full of energy, doing really well. Thank you for asking. I hope everyone is the same. All right, so quick announcement. I just released a brand new video on the YouTube channel. This is an HD video. Of course, we have over 100 of these HD videos and other videos on our websites for you. And our latest video is a 30-day study plan video that explains for students basically what you need to do in order to increase your band score by about 1 band when you have 30 days to study for the exam. You can find that 30-day study plan as a PDF on our website as well. Hopefully some of you have seen that. Lovepreet Singh says, yes, I've seen it, and Lovepreet, I've actually seen your comment on it as well, and I've replied to that, so I'm happy many of you have actually watched that video already. All right, students, you can get our books, digital or paperback, from Amazon. We have 2 exam books for academic, 2 exam books for general. Search for these titles there. And this is our live IELTS streaming for this week. Danish, I'm glad you saw the video as well. So our live streaming from July 24th to 27th, you can see the schedule on our YouTube channel comments. Today we are focusing on speaking part 1. Speaking, of course, it's a 12 to 15 minute interview session. You have just 12 to 15 minutes to show those examiners that you have good English speaking ability. So in today's class, make sure to not just listen and comment, but also repeat the questions, repeat the answers. Focus on questions as well as answers, okay? All right, then tomorrow we have a members chat class starting at 13:30 Central European Time. We have a task to request for that class, followed by a reading session for everyone. Then we have, of course, some more classes on the 26th and 27th. Let's get into our speaking lesson of the day. Okay. Eggy, writing, band 6. I'm just looking at Eggy Roa's comment. Band 6, Eggy, is not that bad. You can improve. I highly recommend using our writing services on our website. Okay. All right. So students, let's talk a little bit about speaking, focusing on speaking part 1. Importantly, for questions when you're practicing before the test and while you are in your speaking interview, think about answers, explanations, examples. What's your favorite fruit? My favorite fruit is apples. Think about why. Well, because they're available in many different flavors in my country. We have green apples, red apples, and I like their sweet taste. I ate a green apple yesterday. That's my example. Okay, so always think answer, explain, example. That's how you can bump up your score. Okay, so bump up your score by always thinking answer, explain, example, and be concise. It means don't just keep talking and talking and talking, stretch your words, but say your answer, your example, and your explanation clearly, concisely. Concisely means in a short way, okay? Don't stretch, all right? Okay, so the next point before we get to our questions, we will look at questions, sample questions, of course. So I want to talk about grammar and verb form and tenses for part one, speaking, okay? Now, for part one, the questions are testing your ability to understand various kinds of grammar in spoken English and then produce that grammar. And they kind of build it up from the basics, okay? So what kind of grammar do you think you will hear in the first couple questions? It's no guarantee, but what do you think? What do you think will be the first grammar form that you'll probably hear in the first couple questions on your speaking interview or in your speaking interview? Santa says, easy ones. Hung says, probably present simple. Yeah, so your first questions will probably be something present simple. Okay, so it'll be no guarantees, but it will come in the first couple questions. Present simple. Okay, like for example, what do you do for fun? Okay. When does English use present simple? So what kind of a situation do we use present simple in speaking or in writing? When do we use that? So what kind of an idea are we looking for when we ask this kind of question? What do you do for fun? Arthur Gregg Willers says, when we're talking about general truths, something that's just generally true, so it's true yesterday, today, tomorrow, it's not really connected to time, right? So I watch movies for fun because they are a nice way to relax. I just saw the new Lion King yesterday. Okay, so there's your band 9 answer for that. Okay, so present simple for the question, repeat after me. What do you do for fun? Present simple for the answer. So my answer is the same grammar initially that the question is, okay? So I keep it present simple. I watch movies for fun. So I'm telling the examiner, yeah, you asked me generally, yesterday, today, tomorrow, what do I do for fun? And I'm answering you in that same grammar. So I watch movies for fun because they are a nice way to relax. Again, notice I'm continuing with present simple here. It's my explanation. And then I quickly add my example. I don't say for example, simply I use I just saw the new Lion King yesterday. Now, of course, for this, I switch to the correct past tense. Okay, that's your band 9 answer for that simple question. And the examiner is already seeing that you're able to recognize correct grammar and reflect. That's your coherence. You're being coherent, you're being natural. Okay? All right, so again, repeat after me. What do you do for fun? I watch movies for fun because they are a nice way to relax. I just saw the new Lion King yesterday. Of course, build your fluency as well. Okay, so then the next questions, they might be simple past, present continuous. I'm not going to go into examples just yet. We'll do that in a moment. After the first 4 or 5 questions, or maybe 3, 4 questions that are present simple, future, okay, it's future participle will. We don't really have a future tense in English. We use the future participle will. And simple past, what do you think is the next grammar? So what will you commonly hear as the 1 two last questions. So the last couple of questions in speaking part 1. What kind of grammar do you think you might hear? Speaking part 1, last couple questions. What will be the grammar that you might hear and you need to recognize? This is where some students lose half a band because they don't get these last couple questions. Okay, Hung says maybe past simple and present perfect. Frida Saragi says the perfect tense. Yeah, that's very common because, of course, the next level of grammar from the present simple, past simple, future is the present perfect. So the last couple of questions will likely be, now it's no guarantee, students, that it's going to be this order, but it often is, and it's guaranteed that you will hear these grammar forms. So keep that in mind, okay? Pay attention for this. It can easily save you a half band to a full band score. So last couple of questions will likely be present perfect, and you might hear conditional, okay? Like if, then, all right? Make sure to fully reflect these grammar forms. It's very important, okay? So I'll give you a quick example and then we'll get to today's question topic. So your last couple questions might be something like, has your preference for entertainment media changed in the last 10 years? Okay, so keeping kind of with that fun element. So has your preference for entertainment media changed in the last 10 years? Okay. And then you need to very quickly answer that with present perfect. So here, the question from the examiner is present perfect. Has it changed? Okay. So yes, you need to immediately use that present perfect. And you can do that as simply as saying, yes, it has. Okay. Those 3 simple words can save you a half band score on your speaking mark. All right. 3 simple, beautiful words that can easily help you to go from a 6 to a 6.5. You just need to remember that. So yes, it has. And then continue, of course. A decade ago, I used to play video games, but these days I'm more into watching movies, as I had mentioned previously. I don't find video games as entertaining anymore. Okay? So again, don't forget your explanations and your examples, all right? Okay, so again, repeat after me. Has your preference for entertainment media changed in the last 10 years? Yes, it has. A decade ago, I used to play video games, but these days I'm more into watching movies, as I had mentioned previously. I don't find video games as entertaining anymore. Notice how I'm linking information as well. That's another nice little tip or trick to just slightly but surely increase those band scores. Okay? Gaurav, good luck on your speaking test tomorrow. This is Gaurav Janat in our chat, who's got speaking tomorrow. Gaurav, we're with you in spirit. Definitely check out some of the speaking videos on our channel. Lots of good tips for you there. And don't be too nervous, okay? Be confident. That's important for the exam. All right, everyone. So that's just a little bit about grammar, okay, and the structure of your answers. Practice that. It sounds simple, but simple is not easy. It takes practice to achieve simple, clear communication. So make sure to practice that, okay? All right. Any questions about grammar in speaking. Any questions about that? Anybody like, oh, I don't know about this, or I had this really weird grammar come up, or should I use passive voice? Answer to that is no. Try to use active voice usually. So any questions about that before we move on? Pachu says, what about conditionals? Pachu, that's a good question. Okay. So Pachu says, well, what if I get a conditional in that part one? So if you could try any new fun activity, what would it be? Okay, give you a quick example for that, Pachu. That was a good question. So Pachu is asking, what if my question is like this? What if it's a conditional? And here again, many students make a slight, simple little mistake that doesn't really help you with your scores. A lot of students will answer, I would try bungee jumping because it seems really exciting. Okay, so many students will answer like this. The question will be, if you could try any new fun activity, what would it be? And then the answer is, again, repeat, I would try bungee jumping because it seems really exciting. Is this a good answer? Yeah, it's okay. But there's something missing. What's missing from this? What's missing from this answer? Can anybody tell me? There's a little piece that's missing there that could make this a much better answer and make it a lot more clear for the examiner and help you to bump up. Yeah, so Preeti Sina says your condition is missing. Okay, so you're giving the answer, but you're not including the condition. Now, in everyday English conversation, this is perfect. Most native speakers don't include the condition in their answers. However, in the IELTS exam, you should, okay? Because that shows the examiner your clarity on this grammar form. So you should include it, and you should try to paraphrase it as well, okay? If I could do some new activity for enjoyment, okay, I would try bungee jumping. So now I have my condition, okay, so I'm reflecting the conditional nature of the question. This will score you better, okay, so this will get you a little bit of a better score. Remembering these simple tips, like including the condition and starting your sentence when it's present perfect with yes, it has, might just be enough to get you an extra half band score. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, that was a really good question, Pachu, of, well, what about conditionals? So that's that for conditionals. All right, students, now let's practice these skills. Okay, so let's put this together and let's practice. Here we go. So I'm going to be your examiner for the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. Takes about 15 minutes, has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each part. First, may I see your identification, please? Okay, always have your answer ready for this. I will always ask you this because it's really awkward when students give an unnatural answer for this question. So might seem redundant, repetitive, but I'm always asking, and I'm happy that many students have no problems and just say it. So Sana says, yes, please. Here it is. Simran says, yes, of course. Danish says, yes, sure. Babin says, yes, sure. Sadaf says, yes, here you are. Satisfying time says, yes, certainly. Here you are. Yeah, might as well show your fluency early on in the game. Yes, you may. There's our website again. Just a sec. Okay, so yes, certainly. Certainly is a little bit nicer than just saying sure. So yes, certainly. Here you are. Please have a look. Or take a look. Up to you. Okay. Now, that shows that you're clear and you're fluent. Okay, so again, yes, certainly, here you are. Please have a look. All right, and then they will look at your passport, and their next question will certainly be, what is your full name? Arthur Gregg Willers, I would not use "you got it, pal" on that previous one. That's too colloquial, okay? It's funny, but it's too colloquial. So, what is your full name is the next question. They're matching your ID with your given name that you give them, okay? Frank Manzi says, my full name is Leonard Hirsch. Please just call me Leo. Very good, okay? So you're giving that nickname as well. Fantastic. Shiny Jacob says, my name is Shiny. Now, Shiny, if you have your family name or a second name on your passport, definitely give it, okay? Otherwise, they'll kind of look at you like, what? Amarjeet Singh says, my full name is Amarjeet Singh. However, my family and friends call me by my nickname, Amar. Amarjeet, nickname is one word in English, okay? Just an FYI for your information. Kawaljit says, my name is Kawaljit Kaur, and you can just call me Kawal. Okay, that's good. Roshni says, my given name is Roshni, and my surname is Kunte. Please call me by my first name. That works, Roshni. Very good. Okay. So, again, give your full name, especially the way that it is on your passport. Okay, don't confuse them. They might get a weird look. Okay. My full name is Alexander Moores. Please just refer to me by my nickname, Alex. Okay? So lots of different ways. Again, practice different ways so you sound natural. You should not sound like a recording, all right? Leave that to me. Okay, so again, repeat. What is your full name? My full name is Alexander Moores. Please just refer to me by my nickname, Alex. Okay? All right. Now comes the next question, and these questions are just to make you feel comfortable. Remember that. Okay, remember that these icebreaker questions are there to make you feel comfortable. So don't feel more nervous, because that's counterintuitive. That's against what they want you to feel, and it's not good to feel too nervous. So here's the next question. Where do you live? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this. Okay, I live in this city. It's okay, but maybe too simple. Kawaljit Kaur says, I belong to a small village called Akara, and it's near Jagran city. Okay. All right. Preeti says, I grew up in a beautiful lake city, Udaipur, which is located in the southern part of Rajasthan. Preeti, very good. Okay, already showing good vocabulary. Okay. Frida Saragi says, I live in Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia. Sure, and Frida, even if your exam is in Jakarta, you could say, for example, I live right here in Jakarta, which, as many people know, is the capital of the Philippines. Okay. All right, sure. That works. So again, just working on sounding natural. Okay, sounding natural. All right. Sorry, Indonesia. Right? So again, repeat after me. Where do you live? I live right here in Jakarta, which, as many people know, is the capital of Indonesia. Okay. All right. So be specific. Okay. Don't give answers that are too simple. All right. And sound natural. If it's in that actual city where the exam is being held, you can say, I live right here. This is a good natural expression if your exam is in the same city where you live. Of course, some people travel to their exams, so you can't use that, okay? But if it isn't, or if it is, then you can, all right? Okay, and you might get one more question. This is a very common one. Make sure, again, to practice several different answers for this. So here we go. Do you work or study? Do you work or study? Okay. And I've seen a lot of other great answers in the chat for that previous question, so good for you. If I miss your response, don't worry, don't be shy. I do catch different ones at different times, okay? Sana Sohail says, I'm currently a student and I'm studying computer science at Punjab University of Science and Technology. Sana, that's a good answer, okay? Mohammed Jafar says, recently I've completed my engineering exams. Now I'm busy with my IELTS preparations. Mohammed, very good. Okay, nice, clear answers. So you're clearly studying and you're explaining that, okay? You might want to include an example or an explanation, sorry, to make it even better. All right. Danish says, I'm a full-time employee in a startup company called Upstream Technologies. Initially, okay, I think you're dragging it out there a little bit with the initially. So you might want to shorten that up, Danish, but the start is very good. All right. Roland Amedo says, I work as a technician in a company in Saudi Arabia. I have worked there for 7 years now. Roland, that's pretty good. Maybe tell us what the company is called. Okay, so give details. That's really good. If you do, you get more points. Charlie Sen says, I'm currently working as an adjunct faculty of mathematics. You mean an adjunct professor? I'm working currently as an adjunct professor in the Faculty of Mathematics at a private engineering college in Kolkata. I'm currently looking for better opportunities abroad, so I'm also studying for the IELTS exam. That's how I would finish that, Charlie. Okay, but that's pretty good. Here, if you remember to, throw in a correlative conjunction. So not only do I work as an electrical engineer for Samsung, but I'm also studying for the academic version of the IELTS exam since I have plans to further my studies at Queen's University in Canada next year. Okay, so again, keep thinking examples. Here we go. Repeat after me. Do you work or study? Okay, again, repeat nice and loud. Don't be shy. Students, when you watch these classes, try to watch them in places where you can use your voice, okay, where you're comfortable and you can use your voice. So, do you work or study? Not only do I work as an electrical engineer for Samsung, but I'm also studying for the academic version of the IELTS exam since I have plans to further my studies at Queen's University in Canada next year. Okay, so again, answer, explanation, and here, just a reminder, I still don't see these often enough. When I remind students, I start to see them come up in the chat. But otherwise, I don't see students remembering this on their own. And you really should remember to practice these correlative conjunctions like not only, but also. Okay? These help you to increase your band score because they add emphasis to your message. They make your message sound stronger and they create clarity. So use them. Don't always wait for me to remind you to use them. Just use them. So not only, but also, either or, neither nor. whether, or. Don't be shy. Don't be scared to use these. Okay? All right. Now, here is the remainder of part 1, of course. So, for the remainder of part 1 here, let's talk about your future plans. So the examiner will say, okay, let's talk about your future plans. Immediately, you should realize that there's a kind of tense, a grammar tense, a verb tense here that you need to pay attention to. What tense do you need to pay attention to right away when you see or when you hear this information from the examiner? So the examiner says, let's talk about future plans. Immediately, you should think, okay, I'm going to be hearing what? What will you hear right away? Don't try to preempt the question, students. Focus. Dr. Mazin Salah says, future tense, absolutely. Now, there is no future tense in English, not truly. There's just a very few languages in the world that actually have true future tense, but we use the future participle will, right? What else do we use in English other than will? Shall is okay, Dr. Mazin. It's a little bit old English. Instead of, yeah, so going to, right? So immediately you should think about, okay, this is future plans. Likely I have to use the future participle will and going to. Now, of course, hopefully this is where you have your future tense or your future participle will and going to learned well, so know how to use it in simple and continuous form. Okay. We'll practice that in just a moment here. Let's start with this first question. What will you do after this exam? Why not? It's a good question. So, what will you do after this exam? Okay. Daner says, well, not only I have lots of future plans, but I also dream. Okay, that's not answering the question. Santa says, well, if I pass this test, I would probably try to get admission in Manchester University. Santa, I don't think that answers this. What will you do after this exam? Okay, well, if I pass this exam, I would probably try to get admission to Manchester. Sure, I see what you're saying, Santa. So not in current time, but in future time. Yeah, it's okay. All right. Arpita Paul says, well, if I pass, just try to get back there. My chat is bouncing around a bit. Okay, Arpita Paul says, well, if I pass this IELTS exam and if I get an invitation from Canada, I will definitely further my professional career in Canada. So it's nice to see that many of you are answering this as a condition. What's the difference here? Let me just show two answers. So I saw two interesting answers there from our two students. Both of you had the same idea, but you wrote it differently grammatically. I want to make sure everybody's clear on this. So one of you said, well, if I pass this exam, I would continue my master's studies in business administration at, let's go with New York State University, starting next September. As I plan to run my father's investment company in the future. Okay, so here I have one. Now bear with me. This is going to be some valuable information for you here. And this is the second way. Let me move that onto one page so you can compare it. Okay, so all I did here is I just copied it over. I'm just switching two words. Okay. So here is the first one. Repeat after me. What will you do after this exam? Repeat. Well, if I pass this IELTS exam, I would continue my master's studies in business administration at New York State University starting next September, as I plan to run my father's investment company in the future. Okay. So there is one, and here is the other. Well, when I pass this IELTS exam, I will continue my master's studies in business administration at New York State University starting next September, as I plan to run my father's investment company in the future. What's the difference between these two sentences? So clearly, I have two different words. I have if here and when here, and I have would here, and I have will here. Both are grammatically correct, so what's the difference? What's different in these two sentences, and which one would be better on the exam? Let's see. I see that there are lots of other great answers for this, but I figured might as well highlight another interesting difference in English grammar here. Satisfying Time says real condition. Well, which one is the real condition? Zilia Rubov says the second one. Second one's better. Yeah, so you're calling them first conditional and second conditional. The better one is this one here, okay? Because this is what's called the unreal condition. Okay, this one is called the real condition. So what is the difference in the message to the listener? Okay. Yeah, so Preeti says, would is not sure and will means definitely. So here, in this one, the speaker is not confident about passing. And in this one here, the speaker is. You should always be confident, okay? Believe in yourself. So when you have plans for the future and you're confident in your plans and your ability to pass, show it as the real condition, okay? If you want to weaken the position of another person, that's when you should use the unreal condition, okay? So the unreal condition uses the past form of the word will, but in this case, it's the unreal condition, all right? So again, well, if I pass this IELTS exam, I would continue my master's studies in business administration at New York State University. Yeah, it's okay, but it means that you're not so confident that you're going to pass. It's better to say, well, when I pass this IELTS exam, I will continue my master's studies, okay? So use the real condition when you are confident and you believe in the manifestation of your future plans, the realization of your future plans. So that was a good kind of accidental suggestions by those two students there. So thank you for that. Okay, both of those are not bad. Second one is better. Okay, so here's the next question. Where do you plan to work or study in the future? Give me a nice answer for that one. Okay, Of course, you're very welcome, Sadaf. That's why I'm here, to give you pointers on how to be better communicators and get those high scores. All right, so where do you plan to work or study in the future? Now, careful, remember this previous question and these answers. If you did something similar, you should be thinking to connect and go into detail and expand. The examiners love to hear connections among answers and details. Okay? So Lovepreet Singh says, obviously I will go to Canada, where my relatives live at the moment. Not only will I be able to pay attention to my studies, but I will come to know the culture of the country, which I've heard so much about. Okay, Lovepreet, a couple of corrections there. Just take point on the 40 minutes and go back, check why I did that. Okay. Tina Tagipur says, well, as I have mentioned previously, I want to continue my master's studies in Canada, and I will work there in a prominent hospital. Tina, good. So you're making that connection. Very clever. Okay, good, Tina. I'm really happy to see that you're remembering the pointers from previous classes. Zilia Rubov says, hereinafter, I'm willing to study in China, my medical bachelor's. Then I want to do my residency in the U.S. since my aunt lives there. Okay, good. So you're giving reasons. Okay. Hung says, well, as I mentioned before, I will apply to the South University in Australia when I pass the IELTS exam to get higher education for my career as a marine biologist. So, Hung, remember to include what your career is. Go for details. Okay, go for details. They love that. Okay. Cambridge IELTS University says, well, I'm planning to go to Canada for my higher education. That's redundant with our previous answer if you're comparing to that. Esra Karauz says, everywhere can be, but I would want to work for the most developed countries, but mostly can be Italy. Okay, Esra, if you have some word use grammar problems there, definitely suggest working on your grammar and your word choice to increase your band scores. Okay. Harminder says, I previously mentioned that I will go to Canada for my higher studies because there are some professors at this university who do research, which I'm very interested in. So Harminder, go into more detail. Okay, this is our member, Harminder Dinza. Preeti says, as I mentioned, if I get my required score, I will certainly fly to Ireland for a job because it pays well and I like the country and the culture. Okay, Preeti, so give some more details. Okay. So, as I just mentioned, my destination is East Coast Canada because the program, the MBA, Masters in Business Administration, the MBA program, East Coast US in my case. I had to take a peek at my, because the MBA program there is exceptional, and I plan to get some work experience there, working for a prominent investment firm as an intern. Okay, so again, notice my answer here. Well, when I pass this IELTS exam, I will continue my master's studies in business administration at New York State University starting next September, as I plan to run my father's investment company in the future. Notice how specific I am. So the exam, the name of the university, the exact month when I plan to start, and the specific reason why. That's how I get my high band score. Okay? And now I connect. So repeat after me. Where do you plan to work or study in the future? So as I just mentioned, my destination is East Coast US because the MBA program there is exceptional, and I plan to get some work experience there working for a prominent investment firm as an intern. Okay? All right. Now here, if I want to make it better, I'll take out this redundancy in work and working. Employed at a prominent investment firm as an intern. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next question. Here we go. Are you planning to take any trips in the near future? Why? Now, they will not ask you why if you give the reason on your own. So show that fluency. Okay? So here we go. Are you planning to take any trips in the near future? Why? Okay. Authority Lucky says, well, I said earlier I would love to further my professional experience in forensic auditing by being attached to an accounting firm in Canada, by being connected to. Authority, I would say by collaborating with. And that's for your previous question, I'm sure. So that would be, well, as I said earlier, I would love to further my professional experience in forensic auditing by collaborating with an accounting firm in Canada. Collaborating is a better word choice there, Authority. Satisfying Times says, sure, I always travel because of the nature of my job. I have to see different departments and interact with employees to check their work progress and create reports every day. So, for instance, next week, I will be in Nepal. Okay? Sure, Satisfying Times, your destination comes a little bit late. I would put it earlier. I would say, sure, I always travel because of the nature of my job. Next week, I will be in Nepal. I have to check up on some departments for my company. And that's what I would do, Satisfying Times. So I would put the location earlier. There's your answer. I will go to the west of Algeria. All right. So let's see. Bijwadeb, I'm not sure how that connects. It's off topic. Zilia says, well, it's an interesting question. I never thought about that before. However, I would be delighted to travel to Scotland with my best friend, as the scenery there looks beautiful in pictures. Okay. That's an interesting question. I think is awkward for this one. So students, when you use the that's an interesting question, just be careful. Are you planning to take any trips in the near future? Saying that's an interesting question, I think is a bit awkward for this one. I think commonly people ask this from each other. So it's a question that we do frequently hear and we kind of think about, where am I going next or what are my plans? So just be careful when you use those kinds of expressions, okay? They're very useful when you use them correctly, all right? Yuya Matsushita says, yes, I have always wanted to visit every single European country, as this has been a childhood dream of mine. So next year I will start with Spain. Okay, Yuya, be specific, all right? Are you planning to take any trips in the near future? Yes, I'm planning to go to Europe. Specifically, I will visit Spain, Italy, Hungary, and Ukraine or something. Okay, so be specific. Be specific, students. Specific. Yes, I'm planning a trip around Europe next year with 2 of my friends, and we will visit France, Italy, and Spain, as these countries have rich cultures with many historical landmarks. Okay, so again, details, students. Here we go. Are you planning to take any trips in the near future? Why? Yes, I'm planning to take a trip around Europe next year with 2 of my friends, and we will visit. See, I'm using that future tense here, and we will visit France, Italy, and Spain, as these countries have rich cultures with many historical landmarks. Okay? All right. So here are some more questions. What skills would you like to learn in the next few years? Is there any special person you wish to meet later in your life? When is a good time to start preparing to make your dreams into reality? Okay, I'll leave those 3 questions for you to practice with at home. You can record your answers on your phone and send them to me as an MP3 recording. Okay, so here are the 3 questions again. Practice these on your own. Pay attention to answer, explain, example, give details, watch your grammar. Okay, and then send your MP3 recording to my email. My email address is Adrian@aehelp.com, Adrian @aehelp.com. And don't forget to visit our websites, aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. This one for academic, this one for general, and do look at that 30-day study plan video to get direction for what you need to study and how you need to study to get those higher band scores. That's all my time for today. Tomorrow I will be back with task 2 for members and a reading session for everyone. Of course, everybody can join both of those classes, just members chat for the first one. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to practice. Practice really does make perfect. Have a great rest of your day, and if it's late in your country, sweet dreams. Much love to all of you from Central Europe. Bye for now.